right, so anyway, let's get to it. Tuesday, July 2nd. This is Yaro Kubrin. Good morning, High at 9 News viewers. My article today is about Ohio. All right. So this is from the Canton Rep, so an Ohio newspaper. Up in smoke, North Canton votes against allowing marijuana businesses in community. North Canton, marijuana dispensaries aren't welcome in the Dogwood City. City Council voted 4-3 on Monday to ban them from the community. Mayor Stephen Wilder is expected to sign the legislation, which takes effect in 30 days. North Canton joins at least 61 other Ohio municipalities that have approved moratoriums prohibiting adult use cannabis businesses as of June 13th, according to the Ohio State University Moritz College of Law. The law school has been tracking the issue statewide as communities decide whether to permit such businesses after Ohio voters approved allowing recreational marijuana last fall. The 4 council members who voted to ban marijuana dispensaries were Council President Matthew whatever, Melissa whatever, Jamie whatever, and Stephen whatever. 3 of them voted against the ban. And I say whatever because literally whatever. That's not going to be the vote that defines their career, but it might be the beginning of the downfall. Asked why people who need cannabis for medicinal purposes have to leave the city to buy it, they said, quote, I think we're making a big mistake. Now, Mathanani said the city would allow marijuana dispensaries, but also require that they pay licensing fees and follow zoning and signage rules. And one of the other city council members said that, there was this disagreement. They had taken issue with the city regulating businesses, but that he himself was suggesting regulations. One of the other council members argued that the vote by the city's voters last November was very split on approving recreational marijuana. She thought it was far better the city take a pause before agreeing to allow marijuana dispensaries. One of the other city council members said the city years ago banned tattoo parlors. And she knows a woman who had to move her tattoo business to Plains Township, where she said it is thriving. She said bans against those types of businesses, such as marijuana dispensaries, don't really help boost the city's economy. Oh my God, this lady is definitely a Mensa member. Being dry has not served us well. Not allowing microblading of eyebrows has not served as well, she said. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing the connection between microblading and cannabis. One of the other city members said he was not supportive of allowing dispensaries as long as the state legislature that he was delayed passing legislation deciding on how much cities would tax dispensaries. So he needed that money piece first. And finally, one of them said they did not want to allow the sale of a drug in North Canton that was unregulated, especially in terms of THC content. So reason why I picked this article is, first of all, Ohio was very good to us during the rollout of their medical dispensaries. I'm super bullish on Ohio as it rolls out adult use. And one of my never-ending themes on this show is examining the rollout of failed policies where we already have a lot of data from other states or markets to see the limitations of those policies. So I picked this today because yet again, we've got a state that's allowed for adult use. And now with this notion of local control, these small areas are going to be creating adult use retail deserts, very similar to California. And so I'm very curious to find out what my other pundits and participants think about this article today.
So Oklahoma just basically did what California did with giving them local control, where municipalities can say that we don't want to have any cannabis businesses operate inside our municipalities. Am I correct on that?
Ohio, correct.
Yeah. I mean, that to me, I think that's a big mistake. That's where California messed up a lot. I mean, the League of Cities is basically just controlling California, and a lot of these municipalities keeping it basically a dry state in most cities and municipalities, when we could have a very, very robust cannabis economy out here. And I think Ohio, I understand that they want to tiptoe into this or whatnot, but I just don't think that this is the way to go. Just set up some boundaries as far as where you want these to be located away from sensitive uses, and just let people apply for licenses.
I mean, this is most states that are doing that. Colorado still does it. I mean, there's still dry pockets in Colorado, who was the first to legalize adult use. So I think that, you see
just because it's bad policy doesn't mean they should keep repeating it.
I completely agree with that, but I don't think that it's completely rare either. And I don't think it was just California's mistake. So let's go ahead and shit on everybody while we're shitting on states and bad policy.
Yeah, you're right.
Fair.
It's a rollout. I mean, you even see the municipalities that are approving it still not rolling out how they're going to regulate. They're still not figuring out what even their application processes are. We're just now seeing in LA, LA County is just now coming up with their legislative framework as far as how their regulators are going to operate.
I mean, didn't Colorado just come out with social equity just like a couple months ago?
That was more than a couple months ago, but they also give a tremendous amount more in grant money to social equity applicants than California even dreamed about doing. So if Colorado can do that, right? I mean, there was not social equity there for a long time, and there also wasn't delivery in that sense, but now there is, and it's
the evolution.
We're flying the plane while it's being built. We've been doing that for years, and we're going to continue to do that.
Yeah, and I really just think it's an economic thing. I mean, as Jenny said, like it's on the onus is on the municipality to like create the ordinance to then create the pathway. If they don't care, then it's not a thing. So until they have an economic reason to do it, I think that we'll see just the slow rollout of all of these adult use cities that are coming online, allowing for commerce, allowing for sale, and all that stuff. So this is normal. This is very normal, but it's an economic issue. It's nothing else. It's not an existential issue. It's an economic issue.
Look, if it's legal in the state, it should be legal in the state.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I would argue it's not an economic issue in so much as I think there's ample data to show that brick and mortar adult use dispensaries are a net positive economically to small regions or to any region. And I think that what we're seeing here is the vestiges, the policy residual of the stigma of cannabis, where we're giving up state or broader control in order to get buy-in from local municipalities. But in creating these retail deserts, whether we're talking about Long Island or talking about North Stanton in Ohio, we do have enough data to be able to look at market after market after market. To my colleague to the right here, as she talked about it, it's not just California, and we've seen it over and over and over and over again. So the challenge that I have is, at what point do policymakers recognize the consistent failures of this local control approach that allows for brick and mortar retail bans? And at what point do states go, you can have policy that is more permissive, but not less permissive than what we're allowing, versus the opposite, where they're allowing them to be more restrictive on a local level? Because I don't think we can show a state where that has actually functioned well from an economic perspective, Simone.
But Yara, let me dig deeper. It's that the only way to get over that stigma is to create an economic situation that will overshadow that. So that's why I say economic issue, because there is some deeply rooted opposition against cannabis, and it's from the landowners. It's from deep-seated politics in those municipalities that come from those citizens, and the only way around that is to create an overwhelmingly positive economic situation that can shut those voices out and bring in the commerce of those retailers. But let's say that hopefully the retail desert situation becomes a non-issue because of direct-to-consumer sales, and what that looks like when you're able to bring or get the product to those people in those rural areas or those quote-unquote retail deserts. How does that affect that? So again, I think it's an economic issue.
Appreciate you.
Interesting. I just think that these cities shouldn't be doing it. And to Vermont alternative point, he said that up in Vermont that they did this similar thing as well. That if a city did not create any kind of regulation, it was automatically assumed that they opted out of the program. And I feel like all cities should be forced to opt into the program. And then if they want to pass some legislation opting them out, then they would have to go through that. So then that way that would engage more of a public response in regards to their want for what they actually passed. Because I believe that is in every municipality that has passed some form of legalization as far as adult use, it is assumed by the voters that there would be cannabis stores in their neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, I advised Marin County City Council on their regulations, and they wanted to obviously kind of curb the black market. They wanted to generate tax revenue, and that was their main focus. And I kept telling them, you have to have brick and mortar. You can't just have this activity and have no way for someone to sell in your municipality. And they still didn't listen on that initially. So,
Crazy.
I mean, it wasn't great. I think it's just short-sighted. It's short-sighted on it's your city council that is deciding what you guys are going to be able to do and not to do in a municipality. And I don't know, like city council, I'm from the South. Those were always the good old boy systems. It was like wink, wink, nod, nod. We're going to get Ted in there because we're going to fix the pool system in our little community.
Well, Ted was a pool guy.
Well,
We got to save the kids. Who's going to protect the kids?
As a mother, I can just say this has never been about the kids, so let's stop throwing them little fuckers up there as our reasons.
I know that. I agree with you.
And on that,
I agree with you, but that's what they said.
Grom-free policy. Grom-free policy.
And on that, we're going to go to a commercial, and we're going to be right back.